Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, today we have to talk about Bootstrap. Let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Okay. So, yesterday we saw what is Bootstrap. It's basically a resampling method. We discussed why we need it. So, we need to have some idea about the distribution of a statistic or distribution of an estimator, and hence we try to get multiple samples so that we can have multiple values of that test statistic or multiple values of that estimator. Okay. So, how do we create multiple samples? That we will see today. So, let x1, x2, xn be my original sample. Okay, this is a sample that I have. So I'll call this an original sample. So we have to do resampling from this. So resampling means what? We will take a
Hello,
sample.
ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
actually,
actually,
from
from
yesterday
yesterday
only,
only,
I
I
had
had
one
one
question
question
in
okay
my
in my
mind.
mind,
That
that
is,
is,
what
what
if
if
actually in
actually in
real
real
life
life
it is
it is
not
not
possible
possible
every
every
time to
time to
have
have
a
a
definite
definite
distribution
distribution
or a
or a
well-known
well-known
distribution
distribution
for the
for the
data
data
set?
set?
Then,
Then,
in
in
that
that
case,
case,
how we
how we
will be
will be
going
going
for
forward
with
with
this?
this? I have not yet talked about how we are going in real life. So today you will get the answer.
Okay,
I'm
ma'am.
not assuming any distribution. See, I'm just saying it's an original sample. I'm not assuming any distribution.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
Sample we will always have, right? Even in real life.
Yes,
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 yes. Yeah. So
definitely.
I haven't assumed any distribution.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So x1, x2, xn is my original sample. The only thing that I'll assume is that these are IID. Okay. Which distribution? I don't know. What I know is that they are identically distributed, means distribution of x1 is same as distribution of x2 and so on, and that they are independent of each other. Okay. This we assume even in all our tests of hypothesis and everything. Okay. In fact, even in the non-IID setup, people have developed Bootstrap, but we will start with the IID one. Okay. For our purpose, IID one should be enough. So I have not assumed whether these are from normal or exponential or uniform or anything. What I know is, okay, they are identically distributed and are independent of each other. So resampling means what? I am going to take a sample from this existing sample itself. Now there are multiple possibilities. I can maybe take, say, a sample of size n by 2. That is possible. But if I take a sample of size n by 2 and if I compute, say, x bar from it, that x bar will have different properties than the original x bar, because original x bar is based on a sample of size n, whereas my new x bar will be based on a sample of size n by 2. So their distributions won't be same, they'll be different. Okay. In fact, in the case of x bar, it's very obvious to see that original x bar variance will be variance, if I write, then sigma square by n, correct? Whereas for this new x bar, which is based on, say, sample of size n by 2, it will be sigma square upon n by 2. So basically 2 sigma square by n. So the variances are different. And here we can clearly see that they are different, and we know the formula to convert one variance to other. But if I am now talking about variance of original mode, okay, and variance of new mode, then I don't know what is the relationship between these two variances. Okay, hence taking a smaller sample is not an option. Somehow I need to make sure that I have a sample of size n. Now if I want to have a sample of size n from a sample of size n, actually if I do sampling without replacement, then then I'll get exactly same sample. I won't get a different sample, and then my purpose won't be solved, because if I get a same sample, I'll get same value of x bar and I won't get variance. Okay, so if I want a sample of size n such that at least some values are different from these original n values, then I'll do what is known as sampling with replacement. You have learnt this in sampling, right, in BSc, without replacement and with replacement. So we will draw a sample of size n from the original sample. So all the values will come from here, but sample as a whole may not be identical because we are doing sampling with replacement. So I may have, say, x2, x3, x10, x2, x2, x4 and so on. So some values may get repeated and hence some values may get dropped. Are you getting what I am trying to do? From this original sample, I am drawing a new sample again of size n, but that new sample is drawn with replacement from the original sample, so it may have some repeated values. Okay, let me take a very small example. Okay, so I have, suppose, a sample, say, can you see my screen now? Yeah. So I have an original sample, say 3, 5, 8, 10 and say 11. Okay, this is my original sample, suppose. So what I'm going to do is, in Bootstrap, I'm going to get a resample from it with replacement.
Ma'am, you are not audible.
Okay. Hello, is it better now?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's better.
Okay. So in Bootstrap, what I'm going to get is, I'm going to get a resample from this sample of size 5 with replacement. So my first Bootstrap sample could possibly look something like 5, 5, 10, 8, 3. This could be my first Bootstrap sample. So I again have a sample of size 5. My original sample had 5 elements. This also has 5 elements. But as a sample, they are not exactly identical to each other. Okay. Similarly, my second Bootstrap sample, could be something like say 10, 5, 8, 8, 8. This could be my second bootstrap sample. Okay, because there is no condition. The only condition is I have to take a sample from the original sample with replacement and of the same size. Now the advantage of this is when I compute median of this bootstrap sample, I will have 5 as the median. Then in this case, I will have 8 as the median. So for every bootstrap sample, I might get a different value of median. Okay. And as a result, when I finally plot them, I will get some distribution of the medians. Is it okay?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
And this distribution would basically be an approximation or an estimation of the sampling distribution of the median. And what I said about median is true for any statistic, any well behaved statistic, I will say. So, any statistic which has a proper distribution can actually be studied via this. We can get idea about the sampling distribution of that statistic by taking bootstrap samples. And once I have samples, so how many bootstrap samples do we take? So generally we take a very large number of bootstrap samples, and number of bootstrap samples is denoted by capital B. Okay. So we take a very large B. So B could be something like say 2000 or 5000. This is number of bootstrap samples. Now, of course, the next question that should come to your mind is, can we really get 2000 distinct samples? Do you get my question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so suppose my original sample is this, whatever I have given here, of size 5. Can I have 2000 distinct samples of size 5 from this original sample? Did someone say something or was it just noise?
Yes, ma'am.
We can, you are saying we can get distinct samples?
Ma'am, I think we cannot get distinct samples. Ultimately, there will be some, at least one sample that will come in common to the previous one of
No,
them.
no, no. That, see, repetition can occur. Repetition can occur, but I mean, possibility of repetition is of course there. But I'm saying that by chance, I mean, of course, if possibility of repetition is there, then possibility of distinct sample is also there. But if I actually start evaluating, then can I really get 2000 distinct samples on the basis of this one single sample of size 5?
Yes, ma'am, we can definitely get.
Okay.
No,
Okay. What about others?
no, it's not possible to get 2000 distinct. At
Okay.
most
So how
one,
many can we get?
at most 120,
At most
120,
120. How did 120 come?
5
5
factorial.
factorial. Okay. What about others?
Ma'am, 5 factorial won't work because repetition is allowed.
Okay. Repetition is allowed. Correct. So 5 factorial won't work. So what would be the 5 factorial into
I think it,
5
ma'am, I think it would be
No,
5 to the power 5. I think it would be 5 to the power
5 to the
5.
power 5. Okay. What about others? Do they agree with 5 to the power 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So why? Because in first position you will have 5 choices. In second position you again have 5 choices. In fifth position also you have 5 choices. Okay. So n raised to n distinct samples are possible. Correct. So if my n is 10, what is the value of this n raised to n? You don't have to remember. You can simply use calculator. What is value of 10 raised to 10?
10 billion.
Sorry, even with a
10
single
billion.
sample of size 10, you can get so many distinct samples. So even if I consider 2000 of them, it is good enough because chances of repetition are pretty less. Okay. I'm not saying chances of repetition are zero. You can get an identical sample, but chances of repetition are pretty less because out of 10 billion samples, you are choosing 2000. Okay. Even if n is 10. And normally we do have n much larger than 10. Am I right? So this is how non-parametric bootstrap works. To summarize, what we do, we take a single sample of size n, which is given to us. We do sampling with replacement and get b distinct samples. From each of these samples, we get the value of the statistic. So if my value of the statistic I'm denoting by t, then t1 star is the value based on first bootstrap sample. Okay. T1 star is the statistic value based on first bootstrap sample. T2 star is based on second bootstrap sample. So I will have T1 star, T2 star up to TB star, capital B star. From each bootstrap sample, I get 1. And now I can plot their histogram. Okay. So their histogram will give me some idea about their distribution. Okay. This is suppose histogram of these TI stars. Then this will give me some idea about their distribution. Or I can plot something like a kernel density curve that will also tell me something about their distribution. In fact, one easy way to get a confidence interval from these is now simply considering, suppose I want 95% confidence interval, then you simply consider 2.5th and 97.5th percentile of this vector. Okay, T1 star, T2 star up to TB star. So if you have taken B equal to say 2000, then simply consider T star ordered 5 and how much? T star ordered 1995. Am I right? Or did I make some mistake? I made some mistake. Yeah, I'm talking about 200. I want 2000. So I'll need to leave out 5% on both sides. 5% of 2000 means how many should I leave out? 100. So I have to take T star 50 and T star 1950 ordered. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So this would become my quantile based or percentile based confidence interval based on this sample. Bootstrapped values of the test statistic. The statistic doesn't have to be test statistic. Bootstrapped values of the statistic. So this is one way of getting confidence interval without bringing in any distributional assumption. Because initially also we did not assume any distribution. We simply said x1, x2, xn is coming from some distribution. We don't specify the distribution. And then we do resampling. We get the value of the statistic b times. And from those b values, I get 2.5th and 97.5th percentile. That becomes my quantile based or percentile based confidence interval for the bootstrap sample. Okay. Another way is if after plotting the histogram, it seems more or less like normal curve, then I can get variance of T stars by using these B values. How would I get variance? So I won't call it variance of T star. I will call it variance of original T, the statistic. It will be 1 by B sum over Ti star minus T bar star I going from 1 to B square. Is it okay? So T1 star, T2 star, TB star is a vector. I simply take sample variance of that. If you want, you can divide by b minus 1 instead of b. That is fine. Doesn't make much difference. Then this would be an approximation of variance of the original test statistic. And then I can use this as variance. And if the graph histogram looks more or less normal, then I can use normal approximation to get confidence interval. So I'll get t from the original sample plus or minus 1.96 times this variance of t star as my confidence interval. Okay, this is another way of getting a confidence interval from Bootstrap. But of course, here we are not assuming anything about the initial distribution again. So I don't know whether original xi's are normal or not. I don't care. But here now I am assuming that the statistic has asymptotically normal distribution, which we could confirm from the histogram of the values, b values.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, a few students have their time series lecture scheduled at 12.
Okay. So I'll stop here.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.